Hi, this is Karine from Karine Carpino Art, and today we're going to continue creating in our Grafix Mixed Media Journal. Here's a flip through of the journal pages that I made using all of the substrates in the Grafix Mixed Media Journal. Here's the 4 pages we're going to make today. And here's the main supplies I'll be using. I'll talk about additional supplies throughout the video. I'll start with our collage page. And I'm going to just tear some of this Tim Holtz tissue paper, botanical patterns, and prepare them to collage to the matte Duralar with some matte gel medium. I'm going to be adhering the tissue paper to the back of the matte Duralar so that I can paint on the front of it. The matte Duralar is translucent, so I can see right through it, and my collage will show through it as well. Now that I have all of the pieces laid out, I can start to use some matte gel medium and my paintbrush and just start attaching the tissue paper to the back of the matte Duralar page. Once this is done, I'll set it aside to dry, and then we'll be able to paint on the front of the paper, and we'll be able to see our design right through the film. Now I'll start painting with alcohol ink on the opposite side of the matte Duralar. So the colors will stay very vibrant, and I won't be trying to paint with the alcohol ink on top of the collage itself. I'll continue to add color, and once all the color's on, I'll use a piece of paper towel and a little bit of blending solution and just smooth it out. This page is finished, so we'll move on. First, I'm going to make a gel print using alcohol ink on a gel print plate from Ranger. I'm going to brayer the ink around and blow it dry with a Tim Holtz ink blower. And then I'm going to use a rubber stamp to just stamp some patterns in the ink. Once this is completely dry, I'll brayer a little bit of white acrylic paint across the gel plate so I'll be able to lift up the print. I'm going to round the corners of my cardstock, adhere it to the gel plate, and then pull the print up. This is going to go on one side of my clear Duralar page. Now I'll take a little die cut bird from the opaque white Durabright and paint it up with a little bit of alcohol ink. And then I'll check to see how it looks against my gel print. I think I'll add a little more blue, and then I'll make the wing green. I'll attach the pieces together with a little bit of the double tack mounting film. I really like this film because I can cut it to the size that I need and attach all the pieces together very easily. We'll just put the bird together and then add a little eye with a white Posca pen. And now I'm ready for assembly. I'm going to use the sheet of clear Duralar double tack mounting film to attach this to the back side of the Duralar. The film is clear, it's easy to use because I can cut it to the size I need. And I'm going to just attach the bird now, and I have a little saying, a little chip quote by Tim Holtz, Field Notes, and I'm going to just use the mounting film on that as well and attach it to the page. And this page is done. Next, I'm going to use the opaque black Durabright, the wet media Duralar, and the clear Duralar to make a 3-part painting for our mixed media journal. I'm going to start with the opaque black Dura-Bright and my alcohol ink pearls and just drop some of the pearl colors down. I'm using a yellow and an orange today, and just dry that on the Dura-Bright with a heat tool. The heat tool's on low and it does not affect the paper. I'm just going to clean a little bit of that ink back. You saw how easy it was to wipe. And now I'm going to use my alcohol ink pearls and my canned air and just spray some petals. I'm making a very abstract flower for the bottom page of my 3-part painting. Now that the flower is on, I can easily wipe off any parts of the petals that I don't want, as you saw with a little alcohol and a paper towel. Using a microdental tool and some black ink, I'll just dot in the center of the flower. And now I'll do the same thing on top of the black with some snowcap mixative, which is nice and white against that black and gives some dimension to the center. Next, I'll use some snowcap mixative and just paint in a stem. And then I'll use a little bit of alcohol ink pearls in green and just paint the color in. Once the stem's done, I'll be using the canned air to blow some leaves. And I'll use both the alcohol ink pearls as well as the snowcap mixative to get leaves that show very brightly and very nicely against the black surface. And then I'll add a little Tim Holtz ideology quote to this page. The next 2 layers of this painting will both be done on clear Duralar, and I'll continue to use the alcohol ink pearls and just make some flowers. Here I'm using a red and the orange. And the placement of the flowers will be such that they will show through onto the black in different areas so that there's one complete composition when we're done. I'll use my black ink and white snowcap mixative to create a center again, and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel to just reshape some of these petals. I like that placement against the black page, and so I'll paint in a stem with a little bit of alcohol ink pearls. It's very easy to clean up or make changes to the alcohol ink on this substrate. And now we'll start our 3rd page of this composition, starting this time with snowcap mixative and then adding alcohol ink pearls to that. And when I'm done, I'll make the same type of flower center. These pages will get stacked together to make one complete composition in my journal. For the next page, I'll be painting on both sides of matte Duralar, and this matte page will eventually be attached to the abstract page you see on the screen with double tack mounting film. I'm painting with alcohol ink on the back side of the matte Duralar page and just adding a background for some flowers I'm going to add to the front side. I'm using a little bit of alcohol and just spritzing it on the page to break up the inks. I've turned the page over and I'm just using a little bit of alcohol ink, and then I'll add some snowcap ink and start to make my cone flowers. I'm just blowing a little bit of snowcap ink with the canned air, adding layers of petals. I'll use a little bit of yellow alcohol ink mixed with some snowcap to just make some very light heads for these cone flowers, and just use a little bit of the ink that's already on the page to make some dots. I'll just add some stems. I'm going to just add a little bit of dots of the black ink with my microdental tool again to just complete the flower heads. I'll add a little Tim Holtz ideology quote and the page will be done. So now on to assembling our journal. The Grafix Mixed Media Journal comes with these 10 plastic discs that make the journal easy to assemble. The discs slide easily into the openings in the pages, and pages can be changed out or reordered without any difficulty. You'll notice I left some blank pages in the journal for writing thoughts at a later time. The Mixed Media Journal by Grafix provides unique services to create versatile journals. Miss part 1 of how to complete this journal? Just click on the link below in the description. See more about these products and other projects on the Grafix Arts YouTube channel and at grafixarts.com.